What's up guys, my name is Robin and welcome to episode 2 of TV Talk on my channel, RobzarrGoesRawr. Nearly forgot the name of my channel then. So I know last week's episode is it's kind of like these kinds of episodes are very all over the place at the moment because I'm new to doing them and I'm still figuring out the best way to edit and things like that. So they are a bit all over the place. It's going to take some time for me to get used to doing them properly. But this one I'm hoping will have a bit more direction because we're going to talk about superhero TV shows. Now, if you watched my Get to Know Me video that came out on Sunday last week, you would have got a kind of like brief idea of how I am feeling about superhero TV shows that are currently on, and that maybe not on, maybe not ones that are actually on, but that aren't finished yet. So they've like finished a season or whatever. If I can get my words out properly, I will continue this video, but it's not looking hopeful at the moment, guys. So superhero TV shows. At the moment, I think this is going to be true for a long time. TV shows that are based around superheroes seem to be very, very popular. I don't think they've ever been as strong as they are at the moment. DC and Marvel both are doing... I still can't get my words out. Both DC and Marvel are still doing a fantastic job of bringing their characters to screens that don't necessarily have to be in movies, let's just say. Obviously, both the cinematic universes for DC and Marvel are going to be taking heavy hits this year, with Batman vs Superman and Suicide Squad for DC, and Marvel's obviously got Captain America, Civil War, Doctor Strange, and however many other Marvel things. X-Men is coming out this year as well. For this year in cinema, this is a big comeback year for DC. But TV-wise, DC are so kicking Marvel's ass. It is not even funny how good DC Heroes TV shows are at the moment. Now, Marvel have some good ones. They're getting a little bit outdated. Marvel have also had a lot of Netflix original series over the last couple of months, and that's good because you can watch a whole season of the one TV show at once. That's great. But that's not really the reason why you watch TV shows. You watch it for the cliffhangers and to find out what happens next week and stuff like that. So I don't really get the whole Netflix original thing with the whole season of everything coming out at the same time. I don't really get it, but that's where kind of Marvel are with their TV shows at the moment. And they've had Jessica Jones, which I've watched, and actually it is very good. Daredevil Season 2 just came out. I've watched Season 1, which I did enjoy, and I haven't watched Season 2 yet, but Daredevil Season 2 just came out. Luke Cage is coming out. Agent Carter, but I haven't watched that yet because I've been catching up on other stuff, but I've heard it's very good. They're all Netflix original series, and they seem to be addressing the kind of underdog Marvel characters a little bit more, as opposed to your Avengers and X-Men that are still kind of taking over cinema for superheroes at the moment. Netflix original TV series with Marvel seem to be addressing the kind of underdog, not so heard of characters within the Marvel universe, which is great. It's great that these kind of characters are getting screen time, and it is a good way to kind of introduce them, I suppose, all at once, like the whole season at once, because then you can get a good idea of these different characters that you probably haven't heard of before very quickly. So that's one of the pluses to that. On top of that, they've also got Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is carried on as a follow-on from the first Avengers film. I must say I haven't watched the most recent series. I think it's Series 3. But I've watched 1 and 2, and it is a great TV show. It's great. DC, and this is they are kicking Marvel's ass with TV at the moment. DC have got Arrow, The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Supergirl, Vixen. They had Constantine. They've got Lucifer. They've got iZombie. What else have they got? They've got Gotham. They've got loads and loads of TV shows out at the moment. Some of the ones that I mentioned are finished now, but that's just Constantine's finished, and Vixen's not on at the moment. Vixen is a animated web show, but we did actually see a character as Vixen, like an actual person as Vixen, in one of the latest Arrow episodes, which was really cool. So DC's TV shows are kind of, they're all in, well, I say all, majority of them are in this thing called the Arrowverse, and it's so named because Arrow was the first DC TV show to be aired on CW. And then the Flash came in, and then they obviously cross over, and they're kind of in each other's universes, so that's when the Arrowverse got created, because they're all technically in the same time universe, if that makes sense. And then Legends of Tomorrow got added to that, and that's kind of all in the same thing. Legends of Tomorrow is actually characters that have left Arrow and Flash and formed their own team. Like the characters' stories ran out in Arrow and Flash or something, and they carried on them character stories in Legends of Tomorrow, which again, really, really cool, because it wasn't a case of getting to know whole new characters again. We already knew who they were, so you could just kind of like follow on this story, which was really, really cool. Supergirl is not in the Arrowverse. It is getting a Flash crossover though. This week it comes out, and that's because CBS, who are airing Supergirl, also own CW. So because they're kind of like owned by the same people at the top, they are doing the crossover, and that was set to happen at the end of Flash season 1, when the Flash had to go through to save. He could have saved his mum, but he chose not to. When he was going through that kind of like time vortex thing, and you kind of saw a flash of Supergirl at the side. So that was when that was confirmed, and that episode's actually coming out this week, which I'm really excited about. Vixen, like I said, is a web series, animated web series. It's actually pretty good. They're very short episodes, but it's pretty good. Constantine is a character that has appeared in Arrow a couple of times. He had his own TV show. He's only one season, and then it got cancelled. I haven't watched it. It's on my to-watch list. But I can't imagine why they would have cancelled it. From how his character was in Arrow, I quite liked what it was about, but he's more about magic and things like that, a lot like Vixen. And what else was there? Lucifer, I haven't watched that yet. I've only just realised that's existed, so that's on my to catch up to watch list, and that's a kind of more dark hell based TV show. So that's all in one universe, and the reason that's so great is because the storylines intertwine. They follow on from each other. When there's a Flash episode with the Green Arrow in there, it's that same week there's an Arrow episode with the Flash in, and it works really nicely. And you kind of feel like you're never running out of characters to be introduced to in these kind of TV shows, because they're always in each other's universes and they always work really well together. And that's the same going for Supergirl, hopefully, which will happen this week. And then of course you've got Gotham, which is a young Bruce Wayne right after his parents were murdered. More detective, gritty TV show. It's more about James Gordon, and how he's kind of fighting to protect Gotham, and you've got a young Bruce Wayne, you've got a young Selina Kyle, and it's kind of like a really, really cool look at how someone's parents being murdered would change a child's personality to become someone like Batman. And it's quite a slow TV show. There's a lot of kind of mob stuff going on in there. You got mobs, you got all the characters are kind of introduced in a more human light, which is really cool. Even more human, I should say, than the Dark Knight trilogy, because they were the Dark Knight trilogy was a very human way at looking at the Batman universe compared to Tim Burton's ones. And this is an even more human way of looking at it. It's very cool. And on top of that, you've also got, what else was there? iZombie, that's the other one. Now, iZombie is owned by DC. It is a DC comic character based TV show, and it's kind of strange because it's not a superhero, but you know, iZombie was one of DC's lesser known comics, I think, I've not actually read the comics. When I first watched the TV show, I had no idea that it was a DC thing until I got a few episodes in and looked it up. So yeah, they got iZombie in there as well, but that's in its own kind of universe somewhere else. So that's basically the TV shows that are out now and how they're kind of interlinked with each other. Now, the reason I think DC are doing so well in TV is because they're kind of kick-starting all of these new characters that are a big part of the Justice League in the same time that the Justice League film is coming about. Now, I am completely aware, I'm not happy about it, but I am completely aware that the Arrow and the Flash, the Green Arrow and the Flash, and any of the characters that are in the TV show aren't going to be played by the same people in the Justice League film. That pisses me off because you've got these great characters played by these great actors that have got a fan base. Why not put them in a Justice League film? Because then they don't need a backstory. Why not do that? It's kind of like the way Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. followed on from the Avengers. Like, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has got so many nods up to the Avengers series, film series, and it works. So why they haven't done that with the DC characters Justice League film, I have no idea, but you know, that's just how that is. So like I said, there's a lot of superhero TV shows going around at the moment, and they're just more and more and more have come out, and for me it's great because there wasn't enough. And back when Arrow got released for the first time, I had my doubts on how good it would be because it was kind of like a brand new thing, and this whole thing, it just seems to have exploded on itself and got bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's absolutely fantastic. Now, I don't know how long it will last. There's kind of like, with the Legends of Tomorrow, there's kind of like iffy parts where you think eventually this is all going to come to an end and it's going to be shit. But it's great that they are about now. For, like, at the moment, the superhero scene as a whole is a big part of culture at the moment because of how they're taking on cinema, because of how they're taking on TV, and the way TV has reacted to this big thing about superhero culture being a big thing for people nowadays is to just add more and more TV shows in a really, really positive way, and they've done such a good job about it, and it's just fantastic to see that there's a big variety of things actually coming to TV now. That being said, it is also good to see that they're all kind of the same in the way that they're all in the same universe. They all interlink, and it feels like you're watching one whole one big TV universe when you're actually watching about 4 or 5 different TV shows, which is really, really cool. Now, superhero TV shows kind of got their, like I say, they got their kickstart when Arrow came out. Before that, I can't even remember what there was. Smallville, which ended awfully. We waited 10 years to see a man who we could see fly. It was pretty shit. And then there was just other stuff. As far as DC and Marvel go, a lot of their TV shows have been animated, so it's really cool to see like live action superhero TV shows. And considering the special effects they must have to put in for stuff like The Flash and for Legends of Tomorrow, they have a lot of special effects in because they're all about like fast travel and time travel. To get one of them episodes out a week must be like hellish kind of work, but it's really, really cool. And I don't know, I just feel like the TV shows that are out at the moment for superheroes, they are just, they are as strong as they are ever going to get. And I say they're as strong as they're ever going to get. They might get better. I just think that at the moment, superhero TV is the best it's ever been. And I don't know what the reason is for that, because I mean, I did say that they kind of like superhero culture is a big thing to a lot of people now, so that's probably it probably is a good reason why they're kind of kicking off superhero TV shows left, right and centre. But superhero culture has been a big thing for a very long time. I don't know why now. I say now, it was 4 years ago when the first episode of Arrow aired, but I don't know why in the last few years that it's kind of taken off so much. And The Flash is only on its second season. Legends of Tomorrow is only on its first season. Supergirl is only on its first season. They're introducing they seem to be introducing all of these new characters in correlation to the Justice League film, and that's another reason why I'm pissed off about the fact they're not actually going to be using them actors in the Justice League film, because everything seems to be happening because they are bringing out a Justice League film and they're not going to use the same actors. It's weird. I don't get it. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have any smart talking points. I just wanted to talk about how the TV industry is taking on this big thing, and you know, putting superheroes into TV shows, live action TV shows, can be difficult. There's a million different ways you can do it, and that they all seem to be set on the New 52 comics, which is good because it's kind of the thing that a lot of people are reading now. I've actually read quite a few of the New 52 comics in the whole DC universe, and they're really, really good, so it's nice to see that they're actually following on from something. Arrow as a TV show has developed and grown insanely big. As the first TV show in the Arrowverse, obviously it was going to be the one that kickstarted everything off, but when it first came out it was quite slow and you kind of had to just stick with it, and now it's like every episode is just completely incredible. But that's in the knowledge that you've got other heroes out there, and that's kind of, I think, what brought a lot of people back to it, because I know I'm one of these people. Before I say what I'm about to say, me and a few of my friends and probably other people out there at some point did stop watching Arrow because it got quite dull, and it got very samey, and then they kind of introduced the Flash, and then we watched the Flash and we're like, oh, we're gonna have to go back and rewatch Arrow now. And when you know there's that kind of extra part of the world to be explored, it kind of makes the original TV series a lot more interesting. As far as Marvel goes, they seem to be kind of giving us a very gritty, similar experience to what Gotham is like with their Netflix original series. I am glad they're focusing on kind of underdog characters. It is a cool thing to do because everyone knows the Avengers now, everyone knows who the X-Men are. It's good that they're actually bringing something new to the table. As far as DC goes, we're bringing something new to the table. Obviously, we're getting a lot of new villains. We're actually getting introduced to different hero characters left, right, and centre. It's good to have a backstory on the Green Arrow and the Flash, because as much as I know who they are and what they're about, in the comic books there isn't really much of backstory for them. As far as the Justice League comic books go, anyway. And I did say at the beginning of the stuff that this would have more direction, and I don't think it does. I'm just rambling at a camera about how cool I think the superhero TV show phenomenons are at the moment. Like, it's just because I think that it's so good that they are available to people. You know, they haven't had enough of these kind of TV shows in the past, and it's just it's a breath of fresh air to know that the TV industry, because at some points the TV industry just shows shit constantly, and it's such a good thing to see that they're actually taking people's like preferences into account. Obviously you got big TV shows that are probably never going to end, like Big Bang Theory, but these superhero TV shows seem to be kind of shaping up into one big universe, and at some point I feel like there's probably going to be an entire Justice League put together through the Arrowverse. And you know, we've already seen glimpses of the Suicide Squad in there, which has been really cool. That was a really cool kind of they had a Harley Quinn cameo where we never actually saw her face, but we knew she was there. So there's a Suicide Squad in Arrow. There's the League of Assassins, which is kind of the same thing as the League of Shadows. I tell you what, interesting talking point. When in Arrow season 3, I think it was season 3, when Ra's al Ghul wanted Oliver Queen to become the next Ra's al Ghul, I thought, because technically the League of Assassins is so named by Ra's al Ghul, by whoever Ra's al Ghul is, so the current Ra's al Ghul is what made them the League of Assassins. When Oliver Queen had the chance to become Ra's al Ghul, I thought in my head, and I thought this is exactly what was going to happen, I figured out the plot line, I thought it would become, he would rename it, he would take on Ra's al Ghul's role and rename it the League of Shadows, and then something would happen and it would be dropped, but it would stay the League of Shadows, because in the DC comics it is called the League of Shadows. That's what Ra's al Ghul is from, and that's what it is in the Dark Knight trilogy. That is what it is. It's the League of Shadows. It's where Bruce Wayne trained. In Arrow, it's where Sarah Lance, who's the White Canary in DC Heroes, Black Canary #1 in Arrow. It's where Malcolm Merlyn trained, who is Thea and Tommy's dad. It's where Nissa's from. You know, the League of Assassins is a thing, but at some point it is changed to the League of Shadows. Now, when Oliver Queen had the opportunity to take on the League of Assassins, that is exactly what I thought was going to happen. So when they just kind of got disbanded and taken apart, I was a bit like, wow, that's a massive, like, plot ruiner. It didn't ruin it, it was just a bit disappointing because they could have taken it somewhere else, and Oliver Queen could have been the head of the League of Shadows, which is what it actually is in the DC universe, and that would have been a really cool story to go through. Obviously it didn't happen, which is sad, but at least we haven't got crazy assassins running after all our characters anymore. Do I think, this is talking about the Flash, do I think Barry Allen will ever get himself into his relationship that he wants so badly with Iris? I don't think so. I don't. Now that they both know about it and now they're open about it, it's just kind of a, like, it's there but they're not going to do anything about it kind of situation. Do I think Felicity will marry Oliver now that they both know that he's got a kid in Arrow? I think she will. I don't know. And that's another thing I will talk about, actually. Who do you think, in the latest episodes of Arrow this season, there's been kind of like a graveyard scene at the end of a couple of the episodes. Who do you think the grave belongs to? Because when I first brought it up, I thought it was Felicity. After the car accident that got her paralysed. She's better now, obviously, but after she got paralysed, I thought it would be her, because Barry turned up at the grave saying, sorry I missed the funeral, so who else could it be? But then a couple of episodes in, you see Oliver getting back into a limo and Felicity's there with him, and she seems a lot more riled up than he does. So I don't know who it could be. It could be, it can't be Thea, because Ollie would be clawing at a grave, so it can't be her. I can't think of anyone in the series that is closer to Felicity. I mean, I know she's probably a lot more emotionally, she's going to show a lot more emotion than Oliver does than in the TV series anyway, so it kind of, it might be someone closer to Oliver, but I just can't think of anyone that's closer to Felicity than Oliver in the TV show, unless it's Ray Palmer, but then he is in Legends of Tomorrow now. He's not part of Arrow anymore, not a big part of it anymore anyway, so there's no reason for him to do that. But the only reason it could be him is because Barry knows who Ray Palmer is. I don't know, it's confusing. Unless there's going to be another character introduced to us, I can't think of who it could be. I really don't know who it could be. Unless it's Detective Captain Lance. I don't know. It might be Captain Lance, actually, now I think about it. I don't know. But I want to hear, it's going to be the end of this episode, because I'm just going to blab on for too long otherwise. I want to hear, if you've seen the episodes of Arrow I'm thinking about, I want to hear who you think is in that grave in the comments below. I want to know what you think about the superhero TV shows that are out at the moment, and the whole community that seems to be building behind it. And I want to know any tips you've got on how to make these videos better for you guys, because I seem to go in to these videos with the best intentions and then just end up rambling on with no point to it whatsoever. So I apologise for that, but I'm hoping to get better at it. I'm just kind of like in the air about when to edit things, because I ramble so much there's not much time in between for me to cut and edit, so that's a bit of a problem, but I am trying to get better at it for you guys. And I don't know, maybe I just need some kind of more interesting subjects with better direction or something. I haven't got a clue, but that's going to be it from me for this video. Let me know what you think, and let me know, like I said, let me know any tips that you've got for me in the comments below. Hope you've enjoyed it regardless. Make sure you keep an eye out for the rest of the videos that are coming out this week, and until the next time you hear from me, guys, as always, stay classy, gamers.